I was fired live on stage when I opened for Billy Idol in front of thousands of people. And I love telling that story because that's when I became bulletproof as a performer. Nothing can happen in sales training for Uber that's going to be worse than getting fired by Billy Idol in front of thousands of people, right? If my internet goes out, or I drop a call, or I say something dumb or whatever, fine, it happens. But I've already been fired in front of thousands of people. So that's what builds the confidence, is going through difficult situations and living to tell the tale.
You are now listening to the podcast where authors inspire listeners to become authors, the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, certified self-leadership trainer, best-selling author, and book enthusiast, DomBrightmon. And you're going to be listening to a different author that will inspire you to join the business of immortality, known as authorship. Now let the fun begin. Today's 5-star review highlight. That's actually freaking 5 stars. You'll love to see it. Another review highlight comes from I Value the Unique Angle. And this is a review all the way from Austria via Apple Podcasts. And they titled this review, Brilliant. I really enjoyed the episode where you talk with Hunter Clark Fields about the mindfulness technique for parents when disciplining their children. I will highly recommend this podcast to anyone interested in informational, inspirational, and motivational content where authors share their life stories and expertise. Thanks a bunch for leaving that great review. We appreciate it. And if you too would like to let us know what you like about the show, do so by heading over to goingnorthpodcast.com and clicking the review button to post a review, or do it on your favorite podcast app like Apple Podcasts, and we'll be sure to highlight it during a future episode before the actual episode begins. And speaking of actual episode, here it is now. And today on the highlight reel builder for authors known as the Going North Podcast, we got another super special, awesome human for you today, my friends, because in the words of my favorite video game character of all time, or should I say one of them, he ain't the top, but he's freaking hilarious because he's in the top list, Big Smoke from GTA San Andreas. It's time to return the favor, baby, because it's a host-to-host special. That's right, indeed. Yeah, that's right, indeed. Because today's guest in particular, probably one of my favorite interviews from 2022, because this guy in particular, a man knows how to have fun and make sure it's on all the buns indeed, from cinnamon buns to honey buns to beach buns. More honey buns though. And let's give it up for today's bookcaster, y'all. My man is a bookcaster because not only is a podcast host, he's written a book, he's also an award-winning speaker. So my man is a decorated speaker and a keynote speaker, a certified trainer. So a man knows how to help folks get their professional six-pack abs, a game show host, and the director of community engagement for Sandler Training. Let's give it up for Mr. Eminem. We're not talking about the rapper, but we're talking about the one and only Mike Montague. How you doing today, Mike?
Dumb. I'm gonna need that recording for all my speaking intros now, or just hire you to come out and be the MC. I love that you threw out the six-pack abs. It's not that kind of training. Obviously, I do sales training mostly and leadership coaching. We do occasionally get requests for dog training. I'm not good at that at all either. but yes, corporate training, public speaking, and a whole bunch of other shenanigans I'm sure we'll get into.
Yes, indeed. The good kind of shenanigans. That's right, indeed. That's right, indeed. But hopefully not too many, though. We don't want to end up like Super Troopers and then there's a bear suit somewhere.
I mean, I do have a lot of costumes. The bald head lends to using wigs and occasionally costume shenanigans do occur.
But hey, I know it's not a costume. It's my man's journey to success because it's the real deal. So mine filling in any cavities I may have missed about you in the intro, my man. It's your first time on Going North on this side of the microphone.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being on my show, the Playful Humans podcast, and stuff. That was great. There is a whole bunch of stuff. So In my 20s, I was a radio DJ and DJ'd in bars and clubs. So I got to open for Billy Idol, Frankie Valli. I played Toby Keith's Bar and Grill, the Kansas City Chiefs, and did a whole bunch of cool stuff back in my 20s. That one kind of gets left off the resume. And now I do game show hosting and for virtual and live events, and a couple of podcasts, How to Succeed and Playful Humans are great. And what you're probably guessing already is I don't ever turn down a chance to be behind a microphone. So if I can be on camera or a microphone, I pretty much do it regardless of pay or situation.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about indeed. Because hey, that's how you do it. You got to rock the mic like a hurricane sometimes. That's right indeed. That's right.
Rock, it's going. Was that Scorpion? Rock you like a hurricane?
I believe so. That's right indeed. Here I am indeed. But hey, my goodness, my goodness. And you're actually part of Sandler. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't your father part of Sandler Training too? So it's kind of a generational thing at this point.
That's right. Yeah. He bought a Sandler Training franchise when I was a junior in high school. So I took my first professional sales training at about 16 years old. And I had nothing to sell at the time, except for, maybe sports raffle tickets and candy bars. But I really loved it. I fell in love with the psychology of stuff. And even my whole life, he was teaching me psychology lessons and, high performance, goal setting, time management type stuff that I love to nerd out on, as well as like assertiveness and guts, risk taking, and getting outside your comfort zone, which was awesome. And then the third part of my story that we haven't covered is my mom won a computer in a radio station contest in 1986.
Oh,
And that was
wow.
before computers had any programs. It was like the green
Wow.
screen, prompt, and you had to program the computer to do anything with it. So I was like 7 years old and I learned how to program the computer to use it and play games and stuff. In 8th grade, I wrote a roulette wheel program and started making websites in high school. And so I've built over 200 websites. I also do a lot of programming and internet marketing now for Sandler and other people, making online courses for HubSpot and Cornerstone On Demand and of course Sandler. And so I tie all three of those together. I call it creative nerdery. That's my personal brand. But I have this like performance side. My great grandmother was a piano teacher, and everybody on my mom's side of the family are artists and fashion designers and musicians. And then on my dad's side of the family, it's all business. It's a long line of all men, salespeople, business go-getters. And then you mix those together with the swirl of technology, and you get this big creative nerd.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about indeed. If I was thinking creative nerdery, that's freaking awesome, dude.
It used to be, that was what Playful Humans was called prior to the pandemic. But I found that it's a great personal brand for me when I can explain it, but people don't get it off the bat. They think it's either for creatives or they think that they're not nerds and they don't know what the two mean together. So it's a great personal brand for me, but it didn't work too much as a podcaster community because I kept getting the wrong people.
That's true. You probably got some of the creative artsy folks, but they were boring.
Well, or they're already playful. So really, Playful Humans, my mission is to help adults rediscover the power of play. And people like you don't need my help. You're laughing and having fun, and you got the bright colors behind you, and you're rocking it. You're doing your thing. So I was attracting people like that, which is great. But I felt like I'm learning from them. I'm not offering as much to that community. I wanted to help the people that are selling insurance and driving the gray sedan to their job and worried more about their 401k than their happiness, and helping those people get out of the matrix.
There we go. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. The red pill and blue pill, baby. That's right indeed. My man's helping take the playful pill,
What
baby.
happens if you take them both at the same time, Dom? I don't know. I recommend that.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be the purple pill. It's like, all right, you get a taste of reality and a taste of the real stuff and the fake stuff at the same time. That's right. Instead of calling you Mr. Anderson, they'll. Yeah, that's a good question. They did make another action. Never mind. No, they don't. That's so
It's like, do you just end up in like Princess Purple Rain or something with that one? If you take the red pill and the blue pill at the same time.
That probably would be great. Be like, yeah, Keanu Reeves takes weed for the first time. The purple pill. That's right, indeed.
I think you end up in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's what happens if you take them both at the same time.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. And that's a good mission you have there too, helping folks that are always dull, gray, and boring and neutral to get out of there. Wonderful funk and get into the more playful side indeed. So, what are the benefits of play, my man, when you combine it with your professional life?
I think there are five big things. I call them the five CCs of fun. You need a little shot of fun in your life to be more creative. When we're stressed out, our brain locks down, our body tightens up, and we're in survival mode. So we look for one right answer that allows us to escape the situation and survive to fight another day. But it's really hard to be creative when you're under pressure. If somebody says, quick, say something funny, or quick, make something creative, and write a poem, like, it doesn't work like that. Your brain doesn't operate in that. You have to be free and loose and in a playful mindset to be creative. And so I think that's the first big one. The second one is really just connections, and then it leads to a bigger company culture. So when you're stressed out, you're stressing other people out, and it's really hard to connect with another human being on an emotional level and have empathy and get the good endorphins going of like human contact and friendship and love when you're stressed out and you're burnt out, right? And that applies to the bigger culture. So the third C is culture. When you do it as groups, like teams that play together, create better bonds. When you have a more playful culture, you start getting more creative problem solving. You getting interesting work-life balance, and people have time to recover and do cool things that they don't have time to do when they're stressed out and just trying to produce all the time. And then the one people miss a lot of times too is people that play have better physical and mental conditioning. So people that play move their bodies more, they think more, they create different neural connections and stuff, that it shows that their brain is even creating more connections than other people when you look at MRI studies and things. So I think all of that is really interesting. And then the one that I missed, let's see if I can hit the fifth one. We've got creativity. Oh, connections, culture, and conditioning. The last one is confidence. And so when you play, when you or don't have all of this pressure on, you're not fearing failure. You can try things and mix it up, or do something maybe that people wouldn't expect. But when you're doing it through play, you learn how to be successful. So we don't get confident by winning, which is ironic. When you always win all the time, if you got all green lights on your way to work, you'd go, whoa, something's weird. I'm gonna have to hit a red light soon. And we get this like false narrative that it's the imposter syndrome. But when we fail and we overcome challenging situations, that's what builds confidence, because we go, oh, you know what, things can go wrong and I can still have it work out okay in the end. That's when we become confident. So this is also where, if you want, Tom, I can tell my favorite story of all time, which was one of my biggest public failures. I'll take that thumbs up as a yes. I was fired live on stage when I opened for Billy Idol in front of thousands of people. And I love telling that story because that's when I became bulletproof as a performer. Nothing can happen in sales training for Uber that's going to be worse than getting fired by Billy Idol in front of thousands of people, right? If my internet goes out, or I drop a call, or I say something dumb or whatever, fine, it happens. But I've already been fired in front of thousands of people. So that's what builds the confidence, is going through difficult situations and living to tell the tale.
Hey, that's amazing, man. Especially to put it that way at the end. It's like, man, I got fired by Billy Idol on stage. Like, the guy, did he let you
Apparently
finish?
Billy Idol doesn't like Casey and the Sunshine Band. I played Do a Little Dance, Make a Little Love, and Get Down Tonight, because I like to tell the joke, save the making love for the end of the night. That's not necessarily an order in the song. So, you can do a little dance and get down, but we're in a public place. Save the making love till when you get home.
He told my man, all right, you make love at home, buddy. Make love to
Yeah.
this unemployment real quick.
Yeah,
Like that.
and Billy Idol's manager and sound technicians just went, turned the lights off, turned the sound off. I had no control. I'm just standing on stage in the dark in front of a couple thousand people. I walked out, did not pass go, did not collect $200, just grabbed my CDs and hit the road.
It's amazing how you could just look back at that story and tell that story just with ease like that. Because it's like, hey, some folks would be like, oh God, yeah, that's a life change freaking ever. It's like, I'm not sure if I want to share that one, but it's like, hey, you got the
Yeah.
confidence to do that. And I love the fact that you mentioned conditioning too, which is very interesting and something that a lot of folks wouldn't consider when it comes to playfulness. Because when you think about it, like a lot of folks who had that playful energy, they have the youthful energy with them, and they really seem to be light and like free of movement.
Yeah.
Like they just get to go out and have all this infinite energy for days.
Well, and it makes sense, right? Even if you think about it logically, it's like, do you want to spend a half an hour on a treadmill and do a whole bunch of burpees and stuff, or do you want to go play dodgeball? And you take the same number of steps, get your heart rate to the same thing, and you do the same ducking and diving and jumping, but it's way more fun, right? So when exercise is fun, you do it more and you still get all that physical and mental conditioning, and you're thinking in 3 dimensions and stuff. So rather than being on a treadmill and staring at a flat screen or a wall, you're got the world lit up and you got balls flying around 360 and you're having to pay attention and be alive and alert. And it's so much more powerful and it's way more fun. So I feel like there's no negative side effects of play that I found.
It's funny you mentioned dodgeball because funny enough, I had my old kickboxing instructor at the time. Some kickboxing classes, he would just have us break out with the last like 10 minutes. We just do dodgeball.
Yeah. I mean, it's really a heck of an exercise. And you learn to get pretty good at it too. If you use those classic like red rubber balls, they'll leave like the hatch imprint on your forehead if you get hit with one of those. You learn to keep your hands up, right? In your kickboxing class.
Yeah, that's true. God forbid you got your glasses on too. It's like, oh, yep.
Yeah, it's
Looks
gonna
like
smash.
Kit Kats happen.
Tom, I'm glad you know what's up. You know, some of the kids these days, they're playing with the Nerf balls, you know, the tiny size. No, you gotta go real classic
Yeah,
quarter
exactly.
inch of red hard plastic.
Yeah, exactly. If you think getting participation trophies hard, wait till you get this, buddy. Let's give you the realness.
Oh, that's funny.
So my goodness, my goodness. And another part about it, actually, this actually reminds me of one of your recent talks. I think it was on Alex Sanfilippo's pod talks and helping podcasters to have more fun. You had this great one liner that fear kills fun. So how has that helped you in your life, my man? Because I'm pretty sure it helped you after that Billy Idol moment. Like, has there been any other moments where it's like, oh, wow, I got over my fear, now I can have more fun?
Yeah, I think that is a great one because again, when we're under stress, our body just works differently. And a lot of people don't realize that's not a permanent mode. Those are for temporary situations when like all hell breaks loose and you need to really survive. Your body is primed for that. But you can't operate like that 8, 12, 16 hours a day. You're going to burn out and you're going to freak yourself out. And then you get all kinds of bad chronic conditions and from all that stress. So I think the biggest thing for me is two things. Lowering the stakes on what you're doing. Most of the stuff that you're doing is not life and death, right? I do sales training. There's no sales training emergencies. If a salesperson didn't get their sales training this week, that's okay. We'll reschedule for next week. It'll be fine, right? But once we like allow ourselves to relax and lower the stakes, we can be a little more free to play with ideas and people and things. The other one for me though is growing your comfort zone. So the reason I love telling the Billy Idol story too is because out of everybody at the radio station, all the people they asked, his opening act had gotten sick. And so they called somebody last minute and said, who at, 7 o'clock tonight can get on stage in front of 1,000 people and entertain the crowd. And I was like, I can do this, you know? Billy Idol fans and 2023, we're all soccer moms at that point. I'm like, I can handle 1,000 soccer moms. What's the worst that's going to happen? Right. And I had the guts to get up there and do it. And like you said, it stretches the comfort zone then. So once you've blown past that, it's really easy to shrink back in. So I think one of the fun ways to play and challenge yourself are doing hard things. So whether you like extreme adventures like bungee jumping or hang gliding or something crazy, or you're just doing something uncomfortable, you're going to a different city you've never been before, you're traveling by yourself, or go out to dinner by yourself. A lot of people don't even have the guts to just go out in public and wander around and see what happens. Right? Meet some people. When you do things like that to stretch your comfort zone, those daily tasks become a lot easier and the daily stresses become a lot smaller.
Heck yeah, that's right indeed. And then one day maybe deadlifting 500 pounds and be like, yeah, that's easy now, baby. That's right indeed.
Once you try the 500 pounds, the 100 pounds is a lot easier for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's right, indeed. 100 pounds. It's lightweight. It's 1 pound now. And then they'll go full swats on that and be like, yes, it is lightweight. It is lightweight. That's right, indeed. I'll be back for the 300 pound and the 600
You're doing
pound.
are you going Schwarzenegger there? I can go Schwarzenegger with you. One of the things I did on my How to Succeed podcast was we did a role play roulette, and it was just to get me and another guy outside our comfort zone. So we put a bunch of impressions we could do on a big wheel.
Oh
And actually
wow.
the wheel is over here. So put them write them on the big wheel, and then we spin the wheel, and we have to do a sales role play in the style of whoever we drew. You'd spin the wheel and you'd get a cold call from Christopher Walken, like, Dom, I don't know if you're busy right now. Wait, I went Schwarzenegger. Christopher Walken and Schwarzenegger are very close together. But Dom, I gotta ask. I can't do it anymore. It's too funny. You're laughing too hard. And then you can do your 30-second commercial as Schwarzenegger, and it's a really good time. Once you do that, doing a normal role play or making a normal cold call becomes easier.
Now that is freaking gold. That's freaking gold. Like that would take boring meetings and make them exciting. Especially the reenacting scenarios if that's their part of the business.
Oh yeah, exactly. Any type of role play or practice or customer service calls you got to do it as your favorite impression. My go-to is Christopher Walken. I like Kermit the Frog and Schwarzenegger too. Those are always good. Or Sean Connery. That's my inner voice. So when I'm talking to myself, I talk to myself in the style of Sean Connery, and it makes me feel cooler.
That's right, indeed. Say, oh, you almost had it. Let me stop. Oh man, that's a takeaway tips. Like, yeah, that's right, indeed. Add more impressions into your life. That's right, indeed. Even if you're talking to yourself, that's right, indeed. Just don't add to yourself with a huh. That's right. That's right, indeed. You'll be fine. You'll be fine as one indeed. So my goodness, since you've been on a bunch of interviews on both sides of the microphone, is there a question that you wish folks would ask you more often?
Yeah. Do you want to play a game?
Sweet. There we go. Do you want to
Are you
play a
going to
game?
ask me?
So do you want to play a game?
I do. How about Family Feud? So funny you should ask. Actually, I have two games here. So we can do Family Feud or we can do the Do Something Fun deck. These are the comfort zone challenges. So what do you feel like? Family Feud or comfort zone challenge?
Sure, let's go for what's the comfort zone challenge? Let's go for that one.
All right, I like it. Nice. It's a little bit more risky, so I'll go first. Let me just flip the cards and you say when to stop. Ready?
Alrighty, and stop.
All right, stop. I got the green one. It says try to kiss your knees. All right, well, I can't move the camera here, but I'm pretty sure I can. All right, pretty close. Pretty close. I would say I'm about 2 inches away from the top kneecap. I'm still flexible at 43 enough to try that one. Okay, and I'm glad I did not move the camera down. Okay, your turn now. Flipping Flipping for you.
All right, stop.
All right, you got do you have a pen there?
Fun. I'm glad I actually do. Shoot, this is hilarious. All right, cool.
All right, it says
got a
draw a
pen.
picture of yourself in 15 seconds or less. So the quickest personal selfie you can make. Can you draw a picture of yourself?
All right, so I'm glad I got a second clock around me. 12:52, 50. Okay, cool. All right, cool. That's.
While you're doing that, I'll give a quick 15-second commercial. You can go to DomBrightmon.com, find all the Dom things and bright ideas from your mom. Dom Brightmon.
I'm not sure
DomBrightmon.com.
if you can even see this thing as a darn virtual background. Like it's a stick
Oh
figure
yeah,
holding
you
a
gotta
microphone.
hold it close to you. That the trick is to hold it close to your face, because
Oh, there
then
we go.
it thinks it's part of your body. There. Oh no, that didn't work either. You blanked you out. Okay.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
I like it. A little microphone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's looking
Hey.
good. Not bad. All right. Do you want to do another round, or is that enough?
What the hell? Another round? Why not?
All right, one more round. Say when.
Alrighty, win.
Okay, this one says walk backwards to the nearest bathroom. I have flip-flops on, so that's dangerous, but I'll just moonwalk out of here. We'll see you guys later. All right, and one more for you. I got easy ones. I feel like you get third.
Alrighty, stop.
Oh, that's the one I had.
It's all
All
good.
right, you got say 2 truths and a lie about yourself. Have you ever done 2 truths and a lie?
Oh, it's been years. All right, cool. So this will be interesting. Folks get to learn some secrets, maybe.
I'll go with
All
you
right.
on this one. I feel like we should both do 2 truths and a lie, and then we'll guess. Okay.
There we go. All right, so 2 truths and a lie. Alrighty.
All right. I got mine. You got yours?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. You
All
go
right.
first. Hit me. 3
All
fun
right.
facts about yourself.
Okay, so 3 brief fun facts. So, one, I was born in a wonderful town of Andrews, South Carolina. Number 2, I got a blue belt in Taekwondo. And number 3, I actually went to a wonderful place called Japan is amazing.
Wow. All right. I'm going to say the blue belt is the lie because it could be a lot of other belts. I feel like maybe you got past blue belt.
Funny enough, that's actually the truth. I stopped the blue belt for Taekwondo. That's the funny part
man.
about it.
So which one was the lie?
Oh, the last one was the Japan lie, definitely. I was actually born in South Carolina, but was only there for like 5 days and then came back to Maryland.
There you go. Awesome. All right, here's 3 for you. I was voted Mr. Park University in a male beauty pageant in college. In high school, I starred in an after-school PBS special about sportsmanship and athletics. And number 3 was wait, I forgot what I wrote down there. I can't even read it. Oh no. I have to make up a third one now. I was voted funniest person in Kansas City at Stanford and Sons Comedy Club in college as well.
Damn. All 3 of those could be you, definitely. Yeah. Because, yeah. You know what? Because the PBS special, your dad was definitely pushing you to be the best ever. So I'm sure that's the truth. That's kind of, it's kind of a hard one. Let's see. You know what? For the heck of it, I'll go with the last one since you forgot what you wrote down.
You're right. Yes, my brother was voted funniest person in Kansas City. The other 2 I was prepared for. I was the Spring Fling King at Park University, and I was in a PBS after school special with my mom about sportsmanship in athletics, and it was a fun little project. Went to a studio and did a thing.
That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. So that's probably the best reaction ever, or best response to that question ever on this podcast. I ask it'd be like, "Hey, is there anything you wish folks to ask you more often?" It's like, "Hey, you want to play a game?" It's like, "Oh, well, sure, let's go." And it's like, "Oh, he's all fun and games, baby. He's got him. He's prepared. He's a Boy Scout."
Well, I feel like sometimes I get too serious about this stuff. And I'm writing a book for Playful Humans as well. And I find myself writing like all the serious stuff about like the dose chemicals. Like you got to get dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin and endorphins going. And I'm like all getting serious about the play deprivation, and people are like having mental health issues, and suicide rates are up, and the pandemic was terrible. And then I'm like, the book's called Playful Humans. Like you gotta include like maybe like a joke or some sort of playful outcome. So I always have to like rewrite and edit the fun back in after I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. So, are you gonna have bunny ears on the cover of the book, or we haven't got to that point yet with the book cover visualization?
I have Steve Martin with the bunny ears on the thing behind me here on the shelf, but I haven't decided. We haven't gotten to the cover yet. I don't know if I'm going to put myself on it or not. Maybe I'll have to do something interesting for my photo on the background, I think, now that you mention it. So I'm open for ideas. Email me, Mike at playfulhumans.com. What's the most interesting, author photo I could have? Should I do like the hand on the chin, like high school glamour shots photo? Or should I do the Steve Martin arrow through the head bunny ears? I don't know. I need ideas.
There you go. Maybe do the professional wrestler or the Hulk Hogan arms, show the pythons.
I was thinking about Hulk Hogan and like a fake mustache. Yeah, just a handlebar mustache.
Oh, there you go. Then the bandana on your head can say "Playful Humans."
Yeah, brother. It's like a good
That's
time.
right. Gonna put a leg drop on your seriousness. That's right, indeed. Give a body slam to 500 pounds of negativity. Playful humans. Let me tell you something, brother. You better say your vitamins. Better say your prayers, take your vitamins. That's right, indeed, because your negativity ain't gonna last, brother.
Man, you're better at those than I am. I wasn't that big of a wrestling fan. I only know the year, brother. That's the only Hogan I have. But you can go deep. You can write the whole intro again. I need you as the announcer. You're definitely the ringing for me.
Let me tell you something, brother, about this good Mike Montague here, brother. That's right, indeed. He's not the candy old rapper. He's Mike Montague. He's gonna help you be more playful because folks are too serious. Their ties are too tight. They're tighter than a Boy Scout now. Not, baby. Gummit. That's right, indeed. He's gonna help you to break out, and then you'll be more playful. You'll have a Teletubby suit ready for action when you're done with Mike Montague.
You're a little too good at that, Dom. I feel like you're channeling something there.
Hey, well, watched hours of wrestling, especially promos in high school day. Shit, stuff is hilarious.
It's so good.
Just the over the topness.
Not is it's one I'm gonna remember.
Oh man. So I guess since the Playful Humans book isn't out yet, you have this fabulous book that came out a few years ago, LinkedIn: The Sandler Way. So my goodness, if that book were a food, what would it be and why?
Oh man, that's a good question. If the LinkedIn The Sandler Way book was a food, what would it be? I think it is ice cream covered vegetables, is the way I would describe it. So
Ew.
I have this theory. It's very much like I was talking about with the Playful Humans book, is that I try to wrap, like, people need the vegetables. They need to hear the hard part, the stuff that's good for them. But I like to cover it in ice cream or wrap it in candy so that people don't necessarily see it as all vegetables and pull away. So the LinkedIn The Sandler Way book was because most people on LinkedIn treat it as a marketing platform. And most of the books written 8 years ago on LinkedIn were all about marketing tactics. You join 50 groups, you add everybody you can, you build this huge audience, and then you blast messages out to them in posts and hope that somebody buys from you someday. And I realized that that's not actually how individual salespeople use LinkedIn. You can't have, some companies have thousands of salespeople, but even if you have 10, you can't have 10 industry experts and thought leaders in your company. You know, you need maybe one voice doing that. The CEO or the president can be an industry thought leader, and they can be the marketing voice of the company. But individual sales reps need to have one-on-one conversations. They need to do the hard parts, which is the vegetables. They need to reach out to people, start sales conversations, ask for referrals, find out, you know, people like do pre-call research and planning and prep for their sales conversations and all that stuff that people don't want to hear. They want to hear magically you can go viral on social media and someday you'll be so famous that you don't have to work for a living. You just post a tweet and you get thousands of dollars in sales. And it just doesn't work that way. So we had to do a little bit of that, have to talk about the benefits and ease and promotion of social media, but also try to hit salespeople with the vegetables, the good stuff of how do you get more referrals and introductions and add more people, information, and opportunities to your sales pipeline.
The good old PO, the people, information, opportunities. There you go. That's right, indeed. The PIO. That's right, indeed. It's pie with an O. It's an O-shaped pie. And again, all pies are usually shaped like O's.
Maybe I need to add something else to that so we can get like Peepo or something or Piro. Revenue. Yeah, there you go. Add people, information, revenue, and opportunities. You can do a Piro.
There we go. P in the rollers.
On LinkedIn.
Watch out, ducks. Well, before the gray goose appears and duck goose are coming down to the magical question every guest gets to receive. And that is, if you don't wake up tomorrow, you're 25 again, but you're still in 2023. What advice would you give to yourself?
Ooh, if I was 23 now, the advice I would give to myself, two things come to mind. One is more specific to now, which is I think you got to lean into AI. You got to start figuring this out and learn this tech because it's a game changer. When I was 23, it was the internet, it was web design and social media that was coming out. And so now AI is going to be the thing that I think is going to be big for the next, 5, 10, 15 years, at least. But in the grander scheme of life, the universe and everything, I would say, at 43, I really don't have a whole lot more knowledge, credibility, or experience than I had when I was 23. It's just other people think I do because I've been doing it for 20 years. So I think it's really about having confidence in yourself and going for it and removing some of those artificial boundaries. A lot of what society teaches us is based on capitalism or getting you to follow the instructions and work in the machine and get a job and keep you not making as much and not getting ahead of everybody else. But if you learn to break the rules intelligently and go for what you really love to do, I think you can get a much bigger head start and you can go a lot faster than other people expect you to, kind of outperform the market.
Yeah, that's right. And doing laps around them. That's right, indeed. So many laps, they'll be like, woof. That's right, indeed.
And people don't want you to do that. They want you to do the same as everybody else so that everybody stays in the same position, right? If everybody just grows, 3 to 10% every year, then everything stays the same and everybody stays where they're comfortable. And if you grow at 30, 100, 300%, people start freaking out. They're worried that you're going to take their spot or their money and stuff. And it's not true. There's plenty enough to go around. Here's a fun fact for you, Dom. Did you know if you took all the money in the world and you divided it equally between all the people in the world, there's over $14 million a person available. So
Wow.
you have to get quite rich before you're taking somebody else's share. So don't feel guilty about it. There's crazy abundant resources in this world. Go get your 14 million and then worry about whether you're taking too much.
That's right, indeed. If you hit that 14 million and worry you're taking too much, don't worry, just give it to us. We'll do something good with it.
And that set, by the way, that set is about like 20 years old. So I don't know how much money there's actually is per person, but I'm pretty sure there's not less. I think the money is growing, especially after the pandemic and countries printing money. Pretty sure the money is growing faster than the people population.
Yeah. And we just recently got to 8 billion people too. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be more to go around.
There you go.
There's enough pie for everybody. A good old
There
PIO
is.
for everybody. It'll be a life of pie. That's right indeed. I love what you said
Pretty
earlier
big
about
pie.
Yeah, that's right indeed. That's right indeed. Andre the Giant could eat it and it wouldn't even be wouldn't even probably be an appetizer. It'll be even more than enough. It's that big. That's big indeed. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. Well, before we start going down the rabbit hole of pie, folks need to keep up with my man Mike is doing. So for those that do just that and more, especially when the Playful Humans book comes out, what's the best way folks to do so?
Yeah, go to playfulhumans.com. And then if you add the /quiz at the end, there's a playfulness quiz. So it's 10 questions, and there are 10 possible outcomes that you could get. There's a lot of different ways to play in your life. So you might be an adventurer, or you might be an athlete, or you might be a jokester, or you might like social events, or you might like puzzles and games, or other types of play. So go playfulhumans.com/quiz and find out for yourself and get some suggestions of maybe how you can incorporate more play into your life and identify the things that really bring you joy, because that's what I think it's all about, is having more time to have fun and finding more fulfillment in the work that we do.
Woohoo! There you go. More fulfillment indeed. That's right indeed. If you're tired of the cream filling, go for fulfillment instead. That's right indeed. That's right indeed.
You're stuck on the pie. Tom, we should have recorded this after lunch.
Yeah, probably should have.
Oh, that's great.
But it's all good. Munchies are always good. So, my goodness, any parting word before we close up shop, my man?
Sure. I feel like whatever you are, and you can be whatever you want, but whatever you are, be a good one. Go after it, make the most of your life, and go big.
If you're hearing this part of the episode, that means you're one cool individual. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, and if you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to share it with at least one other person in your network. Bonus points for 3. And be sure to check out the backlog too while you're at it, because there are hundreds of wonderful episodes to choose from as well.